that? Never mind that. What was that?
Hi!
Who are you?
BARFF!
Not in here, mister. This is a Mercedes.
Nah, that's my name. BARFF!
BARFF? What are you?
And here we go. BARFF Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Brian the Commish. And here we are in the new fancy BARFF studio with the owner of Born to Run, co-host of the show. Walt is here. Walt, thanks for making the long drive once again.
No, it's great. And, the studio's like home, my second home here, so it's great to be here.
Yes, it's always a place to crash if you need it also. We have an amazing week 2 to talk about in BARFF this week. There was only one game that was kind of a snoozer, and the rest of them, it was either shootouts or squeakers, and I'm loving it. You want to jump right in? While we do week 1 review, we're also going to do a little bit of bomb, screen, or punt, because we haven't had anything to really mix in, and so we're going to go and do some talking about some players, and we're going to talk about bomb, screen, or punt, and let's see if we can't get that.
Look at this!
Hold on,
look how beautiful that is!
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. So we got bomb, screen, or punt coming up tonight. And
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's not so bad. So we'll talk about week 1. While we talk about week 1, on the line right now we have the owner of Sotie Pantloads. Kyle's on the line. Kyle, can you hear us?
Hey, Commish BTR, how's it going?
Good.
It's going terrific. It's going terrific. The phone lines are open, and we're going to jump into talking about week 1. Walt, I'm going to ask you where you want to start.
Well,
since some graphics.
Since we got the owner on, let's jump right into his game.
All right, so Sotie Pantloads, coming off an uncharacteristic week 1, comes into week 2 with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They go against the Springfield Rifle, our number 4 ranked team from last year, and this is one of those squeakers that I talked about. It goes in this Pantloads' favor at 114 to 112. Kyle, tell us about the key to your game.
Oh, I would say mild soreness back up to his usual antics, but I won't lie, I had some chest pains Monday night watching that because I was worried he was going to break one off, and it looked like he was running pretty hard early. But I'd say, low-scoring affair, but just barely got the edge, so I was happy to get that first W in the win column, so...
Yeah, that is always important because, let's be honest, this is a long season. 0-2 isn't a tragedy.
No.
But no one wants to be 0-2.
Nobody wants to be 0-2 because it brings a lot of second guessing in from us and other owners. So, yeah, I got to agree.
Oh, yeah, we're right there on it.
No question.
So this is a 114 to 112 2-point game. Trying to get the graphic for what actually happened. Key to the game. Kyle, your key to the game.
My key to the game? Well, I think my key to the game was going to be, thought I was being smart benching Garrett Wilson, but then that almost, kind of came back to, bite me in the ass. But, Zay Jones decided to put up a goose egg, and I would have been probably kicking myself if I lost by 1 point. So, I'd say just, staying dedicated to our game here at Pantloads HQ. Not afraid to try some stuff, but we'll keep doing stuff like that, see if it works out.
I love it. Well, when you saw this game unfolding, this is one of those came down to the wire. It was never really set. And so what did you see while you were looking at this game?
Well, my first confession is because that Carolina-New Orleans game was so boring, I just found out the Pantloads won when I just brought up the box score. Hey, congratulations on that win, Kyle. Good for you. But because, when you got to watch that game to determine the outcome, that's rough. But
it was like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, exactly. So good for you for persevering and watching it. But I think, as Kyle said, it's tough. You make a gut, move, and you say, I'll start Zay Jones, and he throws up a goose egg.
Zero.
You do. You want to beat yourself up. But on the other side, it didn't hurt. You got -4 from the Texans D, and it's really a reoccurring theme so far early in BARFF. how much the defenses are playing a role in the outcomes of a lot of our games.
They are. We've seen defenses go for 38, and we've seen several of these negatives showing up.
Yeah.
And it's unpredictable. Do you think that Indianapolis is going to rise up and,
exactly.
torture a defense? You don't.
No, you don't think that at all. And, of course, Rashad White, after I badmouthed him the week before, he puts up a nice 21 points. So that was a nice bonus for you, Kyle, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he runs hard. Everyone's down on Rashad White after week 1, but I mean, he has top 5 usage of running back. So I mean, I probably just jinxed him, but I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw this. If I'm going to be announcing breaking news, but you see Cam Akers got traded.
Of course I saw, man.
Okay.
I mean, it's my phoenix rising from the ashes here.
So, I mean, to Minnesota,
that's amazing, because what we've seen in the first 2 weeks of the season is a much lower performance than you would think from Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And so they address it immediately, but they address it with Cam Akers. Smart for Minnesota.
I do think so, because Kevin O'Connell was the offensive coordinator. I think when wasn't he there, or the offensive coordinator? Somebody is associated with Cam Akers
when he had his
good year. So so by making that trade, that makes me think he's going to be in the mix there, and I don't think the production from Madison they're very thrilled with. So this could be a 2-for-1 for you, Pantlos. This is
all right.
Tom wasn't happy. He was hurting about his guy Madison. He was sticking with him RB1, but he's punching his pillow because Akers is in town. So.
Well, that'll be interesting to see who's RB1. And let's start off this week's review: bomb, screen, or punt. Walt, Cam Akers. Bomb, screen, or punt. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, bomb, screen, or punt is a game where we pick a player. Bomb means that you are going hard with this player. You think he's going to do great. Screen, you'll keep him on the roster. Maybe he'll do well, maybe he won't. Punt, you want this guy out of town immediately. Walt, Cam Akers. Bomb.
I mean, with the trade, he was a clear punt. But now with that trade, I say you got to screen him now. You gotta be intrigued by it. The new, setting for him.
Kyle, bomb, screen, or punt on Cam Akers. He's your guy now.
I'm screen. I can't bomb yet because I don't even know if he's knows the playbook, anything like that. But I'll go screen for now because I got to stick with my 7th round draft pick.
All right, I'm punting Cam Akers right off the Minnesota lineup. I love that, Alexander Madison. Cam Akers, week 1, 22 carries, 29 yards. I'm relatively sure every owner in BARFF could have accomplished 29 yards if someone's handing us the rock 22 times. Is it going to get better in Minnesota? I think no.
I mean, that's like Coach Guy's offensive production.
That's about it. That's smash your face into the line
for a yard.
3 inches. That was that. Absolutely.
That's perfect.
Unbelievable. But who knows what can be ahead. Walt, next game.
Next game. Let's see. I mean, big win for Huey. Let's wait. I think he's going to be joining us. So when we wait on that one, then let's go to your game, which I think
let's get this one out.
That was a resounding victory.
Yeah, this is a tale of two teams. Knuckleheads 130-94 for Soarin Eagles. I say a tale of two teams because last week Soarin Eagles tie for the week's high score was 136. This week they go below 100 with 94. Last week Knuckleheads are in the 80s. This week 130. So who knows what you're getting with either team. Knuckleheads Soarin Eagles completely betrayed by Damian Pierce, not giving the production that you would think that he would at this point.
And I think he's got to be one of the owners that's probably cursing himself a little, because you can't tell me DeAndre Swift and Nico Collins weren't in. He wasn't thinking about either one of those guys.
There were points on the bench.
There's a lot of points. Hurts. It does.
We go down to DeAndre Swift 27 points, Nico Collins 28 points. These are difference makers. He does have Tutu Atwell, who's looking good. Because you have Jahan Dotson in there. This is another move that didn't go great.
I would love to get him on the phone or a chat on, because I'd really love to know the thought process behind that decision on that one.
Yep. 100%.
I think the high altitude may have somehow influenced that. I don't know what happened there. That was a very puzzling choice in my opinion.
I agree. I don't have the chat up on the screen, but I've got it on the side here. there's a little bit of back and forth going on. Tommy is weighing in that Alexander Madison is still RB1, and I don't disagree with you. I don't think that Cam Akers comes to town and does all that.
It would be hard to believe that.
Christian's giving some love to these rough starts, and yep. and Ant is showing himself a little tough love so far in the chats. We'll let you watch those for yourself. But so yeah, this game didn't. There's not a lot to talk about here. The Knuckleheads had a good week. It's nice. Soarin Eagles had a bad week. It's next week that we're going to look at for both of these teams because they've been up and down. So who's going to do the thing? I would hope that Saquon gets healthy quick. That's
I saw things saying that the coach didn't rule him out for Thursday.
Yeah, he's not going to play Thursday, but he'll play. Their next game won't be until, as we sit here on the 20th, October 2nd.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a smart decision.
And I heard it was just your garden variety ankle sprain. So I agree. I think he'll be fine. Yeah. And the one thing I'll say about your team though is, are we seeing Devontae Smith emerge as the number one versus A.J. Brown? That's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think so. But I thought so at the draft. That's why I went with Devontae Smith, but we'll see.
That could end up being quite the pick.
We'll talk about when we get to your game. Christian Kirk had a good week also, and Raheem Mostert. That's why I'm not so worried about Saquon for a couple weeks, because Raheem Mostert looked great. He got 26 points.
Awesome.
Yep, so I'll plug and play that player, and who knows what will happen on the waiver wire. We'll talk about the waiver wire after week one, but boy, it's got to be burning right now.
Mm-hmm.
Who did not spend the last 2 days wondering what everyone else was bidding?
That's why I love it. This is fantastic.
Kyle, when you look at this game, 130-94, Knuckleheads over Soarin Eagles, did anything strike you? Is this any sort of gloom and doom either way?
Yeah, I think for Soarin, he kind of talked himself in circles with DeAndre Swift on Thursday night. He was like, I got to start him, and then he backed out at one last, and he was sitting in a Denver area bar watching him score and run for like 150 yards. So hopefully he recovers, but I think that was a key difference maker there.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult. So we got Dameon Pierce. Let's go bomb, screener, punt. Kyle, I'll start with you. Bomb, screener, punt, Dameon Pierce.
I think I'm punting because, I don't know. If he's not getting it going yet, I know it's only been 2 games, but, young quarterback, they're going to be down a lot. I don't think they'll be running it too much, so I think we're going to see him on the waiver wire soon.
I do not disagree with that at all. Walt, bomb, screener, punt, Dameon Pierce.
I'm joining the crowd here. I agree. I even saw, just the total lack of production, and they were talking about him on that, saying, what's going on with him. So I'm punting him, too.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna go 3 for 3 on this one, and that's 2 punts for me. Dameon Pierce punt. It's not like he's not getting opportunities. He's not doing anything with it. So it's time. There's better options, not only in the league but on this team. And so
that's the key. Yep, yeah. And maybe for Jordan limiting his choices, he might be better off instead of having so many options.
That's correct. You'll be spending less time sad in the bar when you have fewer choices. There's no doubt. All right, so that puts us. Let's go
to the Beans, our champ.
Now, we talked about squeakers. We had a squeaker that we talked about. We talked about the boring game. But let's talk about these shootouts. And the Boston Beans got involved in one of these games with Huey Lewis in the news. And the Beans fall to 0-2, which is that's nothing that I saw coming. What happened in this game?
Well, there's 2 things that happened.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm looking at the right. Yep. So this was the shootout of the week.
It was.
No doubt whatsoever. I'm going to try to get these teams have earned this graphic. Let's you tell me what the key to the game was.
Well, I think there are 2 events that happened. The unfortunate injury to Nick Chubb. If Chubb doesn't go down, I think he puts up the Ford numbers, and maybe the Beans end up winning this game. So that was rough. And then, maybe this will be the guy you ask about on the, bomb, screener, punt. Najee Harris is just not looking great. I think that's an area of concern for the Beans. So, that to me, those 2 together, that's what did it. And I don't know what's going on with Tyler. 2 weeks in a row, he's 2-0. This is unprecedented territory
I will say
for BARFF.
Worst team ever came on with some they don't ever get love on the chat, and so I will quote Foreigner. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. Here's the love for worst team ever. Worst team ever is currently 2-0. They sit at the top of the BARFF standings. They not only have scored the most points,
yeah,
but they also have a healthy points against. They are not sliding by. They are beating teams down, and they have come up with what, in the early part of the season, may be the best free agent pickup in Kyron Williams.
That's crazy. I mean, and it's not like it was against really bad defense.
Right.
I mean, that's against San Francisco.
Agreed.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yep, 27 points for this young running back.
Yeah.
Kyle, that must have been very difficult for you to watch. So give me your thoughts. Do you think at this point in the season, Kyron Williams is the best pickup?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm here to bring. I know you were giving him some love. I'm here to bring him back down to earth a little bit. But don't let him fool you. 2-0. He was still being Eeyore on Sunday. Tony was going to beat him. Get all lucky. But Kyron Williams, it does look like he's very solid pickup for a guy that didn't really have many running backs. Now he's got like a bona fide RB1. So I think that's turned out pretty good for him. He'll still cry about it though.
So since you took Tyler down, what about yourself for dropping a ball on Kyron Williams when you had Cam Akers?
Honestly like,
you want to defend yourself on that?
Yeah, I wasn't even like thinking about picking him up because I didn't want to have to deal with the two Rams running backs each week. Like who's Sean McVay going to decide to start? So I just didn't really want to give myself that worry. Turns out Cam Akers just sucks anyways, but I don't have to worry about it anymore. So
there's I don't know how many podcasts I have to say. Something weird is happening with Cam Akers. It'll be good for him to get away from Sean McVay and see if there's a change.
I think so. Change of scenery probably do him a lot of good.
He hit his car in the parking lot. Something weird going on between those two. And so bomb, screen, or punt. Walt, I'll start with you. And of course, we're going to go Najee Harris.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, I'd get rid of him as quick as I could. Maybe he can get like a next year 18th round. No, what do we go? 16 round draft pick for him. That's all he's worth right now.
A grand total of 10 points over 2 weeks. I don't know what to say about it. Kyle, Najee Harris, bomb, screen, or punt?
Yeah, I think he stinks. I think Beans knows he stinks now, so I think we're seeing a punt soon.
The Beans weighed in on the group chat that Najee was a wasted draft pick, and here I'm going to tell you 100% we are punting Najee Harris. Najee Harris would show up to work the next day after this performance. There'd be 2 trash bags next to his locker and a note that says, "Don't take a long time. Your key card gets deactivated at noon. Get out. I'm picking the ball up after I punt it, and I'm punting it again." By Najee Harris.
Yeah, he can't get out of the house soon enough for the Beans.
Yeah, no good.
Not good at all.
No good. But that was our shootout of the week. An amazing back and forth battle. Worst team ever pulls it out. 157 to 146. Great job by both teams.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I guess we can go to mine, and you can hear me whine a little.
All right. This is, we talked about squeakers. This is the squeaker. This is... Like let's quote Foreigner again. I want to know what love is. That song has the line, "In my life, I've seen heartache and pain," and this is the reality of a 1-point loss in fantasy football. Because you wake up the next day and you think, "Can I get a stat correction?" Right? It's like Trump calling this Georgia state election officials. "I just need 11,000 votes. You just needed 2 points. Can I get a fumble overturned? Can I get something?" Well,
and I'll let me say how stupid I am when I was watching this game. The last touchdown Pittsburgh scored, defensive touchdown, I was so happy because I'm like, if they punt, they're going to get the ball and score. But like an idiot, I forgot the extra point counts against you as points against. So when I saw that, I'm like, no, it was terrible. But I was talking off air, and in my opinion, the fact that I was even in this game was a miracle by somehow picking Josh Reynolds and throw him in there, and I only did that because I thought Cooper wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
So the fact I was in there, and the game was close was kind of amazing. I don't know Lawrence. I mean, 10 points.
That was a
killer.
We talked about the Cincinnati offense, who proceeded to look pretty bad this week also. But in the week 1, they looked like they hadn't been together at all, and it really had that feel for me with Jacksonville. They really didn't have an answer for Kansas City this week.
But then, I will say this: when you get 32 points out of Hunter Henry and the defense, I mean that's kind of BS too. There was no way. If you would have told me, I would have went on DraftKings and whatever the money line would have been. You say Hunter Henry's going to be the over 15 on points. I've been like, there's no freaking way in a million years.
And that's a pickup. That's a pickup for the Moppers, so that's great. That pickup is basically, I made a decision. I got a W. Kyle, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, Tom even kind of called the shot with Hunter Henry. He picked him up, I think, kind of later on Sunday.
He did.
He did.
So
Yep.
I got to give him credit for it. It's a move that pretty much got him the win. So, Tom's a big Pats guy. He saw one of his Pats get him the win. So
well, then he should trade me the Cowboys defense because I know he ain't a Cowboys fan.
He'll still take whatever he can get.
We talked about the other side of the Minnesota running back situation. Alexander Madison sits on the Whopper Moppers roster right now. Well, Alexander Madison, bomb, screen, or punt.
I mean, when you trade for Cam Akers, that's definitely putting you on notice. I still think he's, like you said, he's the number one. I'm going to go screen on him right now. With I got the formation lined up for punting right on the sideline, getting ready to come in. But
gotcha.
I'll screen him.
Gotcha. Kyle, bomb, screen, or punt, Alexander Madison?
I would probably say punt, but since Thomas got nothing else on his bench for running backs, he's got to screen him. So I think he's hung like a horse for a while now.
It's a must screen coming from Kyle.
That's a great point, by the way.
It is a good point, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna buck the conventional thinking, and I'm gonna go. I'm bombing Alexander Madison. Cam Akers is going to come to town. He's going to motivate Alexander Madison. I think Alexander Madison has the respect of his teammates. They are going to work hard up front, and I think Alexander Madison starts to emerge with the presence of Cam Akers.
See, I could see that because it is putting him on notice, and you might be right on the money on that one. But one thing I'll ask both of you is, hung like a horse, that bench may be the worst bench in the whole on a team. I mean, you take Kirk Cousins out, I don't even know if they barely got into double digits.
I agree. It's not a good performance. Kendrick Bourne probably shouldn't be on a roster, but Jacoby Myers and Brandon Ayuk, they're both
Ayuk is good. Yeah, that's true.
Jacoby Myers had a big week 1, and then he was hurt. So I think I'll reserve judgment in there. Kyle, what do you think about the bench of Whopper Moppers?
I think it's all right. I like the Al Jair pick. I always say that. He's still getting carries, so I think he's kind of serviceable. And then
that's
Ayuk, yeah.
I'm gonna argue with that one. Bijan owns it.
No,
Algier is a bum, so I don't know. Yeah, no.
Arthur Smith said he doesn't care about fantasy. He wants to run his 2 RBs.
It's true. That's true. The other candidate in this for bomb, screen, or punt, and we're not going to do it with him this week because I need to hold off on this just in case we want to do it next week. Kyle Pitts. Your thoughts on Kyle Pitts? You're the owner. He's in your starting lineup. I'm putting you on the spot. Kyle Pitts.
No. I mean, Luke Musgrave is making a good, case to be the starter. So far this is, and I usually like stacking running back with tight end because goal line, usually if they don't use the running back, they're going to do a little play action to the, tight end. Right. I don't know what's going on. Now, I'm very concerned. Obviously, I'll screen them for now, but, I mean, and we'll see next week because that could easily turn into a big punt. Maybe I'll trade him Najee for Kyle Pitts. Bean. Send me an offer.
That would be a heck of a trade. That would be something. All right, so I had heard earlier from No Lineup that they were going to call in. So No Lineup, if you're going to call in, why don't you call in? Because there were 2 shootouts this week. There was worst team ever in Boston Beans, and that is the shootout of the week. That's crazy. It's too bad that one of these teams had to lose. Boston Beans outscores everybody except his opponent, and that's a really frustrating situation to be in fantasy.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. And we're going to merge this. And so we're going to talk about the second shootout of the week, Huey Lewis in the News versus No Lineup Needed. And joining us on the line is going to be the owner of Huey No Lineup Needed. Christian's on the line. Christian, can you hear us?
I can. Hello, hello.
All right, I love it. So this was much like Worst Team Ever in Boston Beans. This was a Rock'em Sock'em Robots type of back and forth situation. Huey Lewis in the News comes out on top, 135 to 123. A valiant effort on both parts. Christian, I'm going to start with you. You just came on. What did you see was the thing responsible for your loss this week?
I mean, it's odd. Puka Nacua is like the second coming of Christ at this
Puka
point.
Nacua, yeah.
He's just, I think he has the most targets by 10 in the league. He is so good, it seems like. It seems like there's always these emerging wide receivers. And, I mean, Huey being the one finding him is not surprising in the slightest. So, yeah, I'd say that. And the fact that the Denver defense sucks. I don't want to touch anything from that city ever again.
That's
Hey, let's
betrayal.
ride. Let's ride.
That is betrayal, -3 from a D.
Yeah,
That seems
like
to
I
be
said,
a trend
it
this
is,
year. There's
exactly.
been a lot of
Defenses are
minuses.
making a big impact this year.
Yep. Huey, people talked about Huey, and this is now we're talking another week where, we talked about last week, they went running back, and their running backs are not carrying this team.
Not at
It's
all.
the receivers, and this is now, this will be a question I'll have for you. If Kyron Williams is a candidate for the best pickup, Puka Nacua is either neck and neck or they're 1 and 2 for best pickup early in the season.
I mean, I like the Puka pickup. It's great. But I think this could be problematic if Cooper Kupp comes back. Because I don't think you're getting both that kind of production if once Kupp comes back. So that might present a quandary for Huey on who's the guy you go with on a given week. So, but, it was smart pickup. He did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He bid high, which I don't blame him. In the position he felt he was in, that he really needed a receiver.
Yeah.
So give Connor a lot of credit for that.
That's a lot of bucks. We'll see how many. We'll see if who competes with that $63 figure when we're talking about Jerome Ford.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
We'll talk about it next week soon. Kyle, when you look at this game, this shootout between Huey Lewis and no lineup, what did you see was the key to the game?
I feel like Travis Kelce not doing too much. He only had like 12 points. He's too busy dating Taylor Swift to focus on football. And then Khalil Herbert, I'm a little worried for Chicago. FBI raided their coach's house today, so Crux might
good.
have a hole.
That's never
Yeah,
good.
might have a hole in the RB2 position. So I'd say, but the difference is like the Chiefs kind of getting off to, well, not really Pat Mahomes, but like Kelsey getting off to.
Yeah,
a start in his first game.
it was his first game too, so I think that you take that with a grain of salt for sure. And I'll say this though: if you look at the defense, going back to that, that's a 20-point differential, -3 to 17.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, there's some defenses are running wild, and some defenses are hurting you. And when you combine those, that's hard to overcome. Joining us on the line, also the owner of Team Soarin Eagles, Jordan's on the line. Jordan, can you hear us?
Please! I'm so
Sorry,
happy to hear
late.
that.
I was saving Massachusetts water systems, but I'm here now.
Thank you for your service.
Well, we appreciate your service, sir. Yes. So we're talking right now, Jordan, about Huey Lewis in the News and no lineup needed. They had a shootout. No lineup needed came on the back end of that. I want to talk to Christian here. Leonard Fournette is still on your roster. You don't have to give us too much insight into your thought on that. I don't want any owner to have to put his cards on the table. But do you have a specific target in mind for where you think Lenny's going to wind up?
I don't, but I think so Kareem Hunt got a job today, and Kareem Hunt is much worse than Leonard Fournette had ever looked,
I agree.
especially when Tampa Bay.
Yep.
So running backs are dropping like flies, and I think he'll end up somewhere. I think he has value, and I mean I don't really need to hold much for the rest of my team. If you look, I think I have a tight end and a quarterback I don't have to hold reserves for, and I have enough wide receiver depth that I don't really need anyone else, so I'm fine taking flyers on running backs.
All
Where
I get you. Yeah, it's worth a shot. There's some names out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going to say fly him right to the dumpster, Christian, because I don't know. I'm worried that all these injuries, and I've never heard like someone had Fournette in yet you work him out. So I don't know. He does like to eat.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know that he's going to go to a workout at 260.
Yes, you might be at the IHOP trying out for. I don't know, Christian.
I respect him. I respect him. You know, he almost won me one championship, I think. So I gotta.
There you go.
Give him the respect it's due. So.
Yeah, past history is a thing.
No,
so
absolutely.
I totally respect.
You got a soft spot for him, and I don't blame him.
So we'll see how far Huey Lewis and the News can ride Puka Nakua. They have Jalen Warren on the bench, and as clearly has been indicated, Najee Harris gets punted. Jalen Warren, I think, he's one of my dark horses for top 10 RBs in the league.
I mean, Connor, when this is all said and done, is going to have like 8 starting running backs, which is awesome.
That's true.
But, I mean, I agree. I think Warren's going to end up being the starter at some point.
Yeah, no doubt. Jordan, we had already talked about your tough loss this week, 130-94. You had a great week last week and not so good this week. Your thoughts on the game from your perspective?
And especially Dotson pick, too, to put him in the lineup. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Dotson? Who else were you going to put in the lineup? That's all I have to say on that. I will say,
DeAndre Swift, no?
I'd like everybody to know that I was sitting there all day Thursday. I was saying, somebody give me a sign to start DeAndre Swift, because I couldn't do it. Nick Sirianni screwed me, and DeAndre Swift has screwed me. So how am I going to just put that combination forward? And I'll tell you what, the owner of the Beans said, "Start your guys. You know, like have fun, have something to root for tonight."
Okay.
And I didn't listen to him. I didn't listen to him.
Yeah.
Well, that's so, sage advice. Sage advice.
Sometimes you got to listen to the champs, and it came back to bite me this week.
So who would have went out of the lineup for Swift?
Probably Pierce. I had Aaron Jones in on Thursday, and I didn't know what his status was.
Okay.
I was going to throw him in the flex position and get Swift in there.
Yeah.
And I just didn't do it. I couldn't pull the trigger on that one after the last 2 years. So that's just a mental mistake, and we'll be stronger in the future.
Do you think that it's gonna bite you in the ass starting him? And then
Yeah.
gonna get back to full.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure when I start him, he'll
There's
get
no question.
27 points somehow. He'll start like throwing interceptions or something. So that's what I'm ready for. But you gotta have a strong stomach in this league.
That's a great point. There's a great point, Jordan.
That's true. You do. So we'll see. I will say Soarin Eagles does have a very checkered history with Nick Sirianni. They might have to get together sometime and work this out.
Yeah.
He doesn't want that.
It doesn't sound like there's any olive branch being offered to Nick.
I love it. So we already talked about that game. Did we do? We're done this coming up week. So let's start to get the scoreboard. Actually, let's take a look at the standings. Our early standings are early standings. But we talked about worst team ever is currently at the top of the mountain, and we've got Whopper Moppers. Come on, people. Come on, load. Yeah, so Whopper Moppers is in the second spot. Those are our only two 2-0 teams, Walt. And those are two teams that have not won a BARFF championship. Is this the year?
No.
I mean, Tyler always finds a way to lose, so I just don't know. His team is pretty good, though. I do feel he's got a pretty solid team.
He's got a good team.
Maybe this could be it. I don't know.
All right, I've been ignoring the chat. That's my fault. I don't have it in its normal place on the screen. And we just have some cordial conversation going on, and that's fine. That's very good. All right, let's take a look at the upcoming games. NFL Week 3. First game we'll look at, let's just get this out of the way. Projections are pretty tight. Springfield Rifle and the Knuckleheads project to go dead even 121 to 121.
That is amazing.
If I could bomb, screen, or punt myself, I know what I would do. Gave myself some tough love last week with dramatic overreactions. Walt, I'll throw it to you so there's no bias. Between these two teams, who do you see coming out on top this week?
This one's easy. I think it's the Knuckleheads. I think I'm super concerned about Justin Fields. And again, maybe he changes his lineup. So he's got Miles Soreness in there again. I don't know, Cortland Sutton. I was watching that game. Russell Wilson wasn't looking at him at all.
Doesn't seem like Sean Payton has solved a lot of problems.
Yeah, no, at all. And I think your Devontae Smith against, not a great Tampa secondary, Devontae Adams, Mostert. I think you got some really, really nice matchups. The only way you might lose is you got too many Giants in your starting lineup. But other than that,
we'll see how the final shakeup goes. Kyle, what do you think about this game, Rifle and the Knuckleheads?
All respect to the Rifle, perennial contender, but when you're looking at the projections for the week and you see that the majority of the check marks you have is defense and kicker, chances are the other team might be a little stronger. So I'll go with Kamish. I think you had a strong draft. I think you're getting back on track this year. So I'm thinking to move to 2-1's coming.
All right, I would love to be 2-1. I can't remember 2-1. Christian, when you see the Rifles bench and their starting lineup, there's a bunch of Qs there. The injuries concerns?
Absolute. Especially for the people that have them, like Derrick Henry and Miles Sanders have had injury issues in the past.
Yep.
Odell looks like he's going right back to the locker room. Like that's like one area definitely of concern for the Rifle. And I think generally in the league, it seems like the injury bug is out to get every single offensive player on the field. And I think bench will matter more this year than any year previously.
But that's why we shorten the preseason, right? So that we reduce injuries.
Yeah.
We reduce a lot of injuries. I don't know who's not injured.
It just happened the first 2 weeks because they're not getting any contact. So I agree.
It makes me crazy. Jordan, Rifle and the Knuckleheads. Who takes it?
I'm going to say Knuckleheads, but one point I will bring up is I think Eckler's playing this week. So mental note, put him in their lineup for Rifle. He could be a game changer.
Yeah, hold on. Does Rifle have Eckler?
Rifle does have Eckler.
Is he on IR?
He's on the...
He's Q.
He is. He's on the... Wait.
He's on the IR on their roster, but he's a Q.
Okay. That's why we don't see him. Yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha.
That's why. Yeah. Yep. Then that's a huge horse. I mean, who had a better week one? So that'll be interesting to see.
That definitely makes a big difference if Eckler's playing.
To see between him and McCaffrey, who makes it to the end with the first games missed. But that's just me being negative. Let's look at the two owners that aren't involved in this, or two of the owners that are involved in this current episode. Whopper Mopper's worst team ever. Worst team ever is projected to go 131 to 122 over Whopper Moppers. This is the top of the current BARFF standings, fighting it out. Someone's going to be alone at the top.
Can you imagine that? Only one undefeated team after week 3.
After week 3. Who's it going to be, Walt?
That's insane. I don't know. I mean, I like Tyler's team. The only thing, that I don't like, if he's going to stick with Daniel Jones against San Francisco. I mean, for the first half, Daniel Jones looked like a cadaver out there walking around.
He did, but he had the best second half of just about anyone.
It was incredible. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, but I'll give the Giants tough love. It was against the Cardinals.
Exactly, and against the Niners.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Tyler's going to do there. That's my only concern for him is Daniel Jones. Throws up like 7 points, which could end up being a big problem.
Yeah, they could certainly implode. I'm going to go worst team ever in this. One of the biggest reasons I believe that this Chargers and Vikings game is just going to be, a 45 to 38 game, and Justin Jefferson could probably get 40 points this week.
Great call.
That's where I'm at. Kyle, what do you think? Worst team ever take it this week, or do they give the top of the hill to Whopper Moppers?
I think, it's good that Tom's got Kirk Cousins in because he could, if Justin Jefferson has a big day, chances are Kirk does too. Might cancel out a little bit there, but I think I do have to, unfortunately, go with worst team ever. Tom's got Madison still in, and as we just discussed, he's got no options, but not a great option, so I'll go with WTE here.
Christian, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I have to go with worst team ever as well. That lineup is just so... It's unbelievable. From RB to wide receiver, you have essentially ones at every point, or Jalen Waddle.
Right.
But it's pretty nuts the team you just assembled and how good they are right now.
Yeah, when your third option catching the ball is Olave, who's having the season that people thought he would have.
Oh yeah,
pretty pretty good.
Exactly, and then now he's got Andrews back on top of it.
Yeah.
So if you look in that whole part of the lineup in a PPR league, that's not too shabby to have those options.
Doesn't have to worry about Isaiah Likely anymore.
No.
Putting up that one for him. Jordan, what's your pick for this game?
We all want to root for Tom, but I will say, and you can see it in his team, Tom's football opinions might not be too great. He was trying to tell me the other night that Mac Jones is elite. And then just, we won't talk about his team anymore because it's kind of a dumpster fire. But looking at worst team ever, I mean, we should have never let him get Kyron. That wide receiver core is so strong, and now he's got a guy who's going to be the one all year, and they really like him out there in LA.
That's true.
So yeah, Ty's a team to beat right now.
Yeah, so that's the game within the game, right? And worst team ever really beat the league with Kyron Williams. He made the right bid at the right time, and he's bearing the fruit of it right now.
Yeah, so I might as well get this out. If worst team ever wins a BARFF championship, it solely lies on the head of Sotie Pantlos.
Whoa.
Yep, I'm sorry.
Why
Because you didn't pick him up. You had Cam Akers. It falls on you.
Wait till it's the playoffs and Eeyore starts complaining about his team falling apart. It's the same story every year. Come on.
We'll see. So the overwhelming votes seem to go to worst team ever in this lineup. And let's talk about the matchup of one of our callers with a co-host. The Soarin Eagles take on Born to Run. This is another dead even.
Look at that.
119 to 119. Both teams pulling in at 1-1. Well, who do you see taking this game? You going to win this game against Soarin Eagles?
I think so, and I'll tell you why. Josh Allen projected at 23 against the Commanders. He's a turnover machine, Josh Allen. I bet he gets like 15 points, and I think that's going to be the difference. I don't know what's going on with the cheetah, Jordan. He's got a Q on him.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm just seeing that now.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's get it
I want you to think about that a lot on whether you should keep him in there or not.
Get it up on the screen so that we can all see what he was limited.
I'll tell you what.
It doesn't
if
say.
you're telling the media that you're going to get 2,000 yards this year, you're not going to let a little ankle injury be back.
He's got an ankle. He started out going after that 2,000 yards, and he's going to have an off week. But an off week for him was 15 fantasy points.
Yeah, and and the Patriots are going to take away, some of your best guys. So I think, they took Hill out of the equation. I mean, if he's playing, he concerns me. I'll be watching him probably most of the time because that guy single-handedly can beat you. So, of course, that'll be I'll be watching him closely come Sunday. I see Amon-Ra St. Brown questionable as well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it seems like Detroit wide receivers is the battle of the banged up.
He's got a toe injury.
Day to day with a toe. Did not practice.
This is all news to Soarin. He's like, wait, what?
They called it cramps over the weekend, which makes me seem like it's not serious since there's a bunch of men playing these games. So
all right.
I think he's okay.
All right.
I see what you did there. Very good. All right. Christian, no line. Soarin Eagles and Born to Run. Who do you got?
I don't know. This one I'm kind of torn. I think that I don't know, Amon-Ra is causing me a little heartburn if that's really a turf toe injury. Like, we all know what those can do to fever. And I do love some players on Born to Run side. Like, I love Bijan, I love Tony Pollard. But I don't trust Trevor Lawrence at this point. So that's like my one. So I guess I'll go with Born to Run.
Trevor Lawrence got to prove it after. Up and down.
But you look at those matchups, and I got some really bad defenses.
Those are good matchups. Yeah, that's what
I'm going again. So I agree with you guys, but if Lawrence can't right the ship against Houston, then I might be shopping for another quarterback after this. Honestly.
All right. Who haven't I gone to?
Well, we didn't talk about the Beans, and we got to decide if is this a must-win game?
Wow, the Beans. Pulling in at 0-2. I'm going to jump over to the chat just to make sure I'm not missing anything. But 0-2 for the Beans is not where you expect. Huey Lewis in the news, like we had projected. They had a curious draft, and then they blow up. And so they're 1-1, and they look good. The Prodigies right now have Boston Beans winning this one 122 to 114. Where do you see this one going? There's not a lot of check marks over on Huey Lewis and the news side.
Yeah, you got to look at that. It's like that is a little alarming.
Yeah.
There's no check marks over there. I mean, you got Hurts, McCaffrey, Evans. I mean, Evan Ingram. I just don't know how the Beans don't finally get a W. That lineup is, to me, it's too good. I mean, if we change the rules and we let Huey start 5 running backs, maybe it's a little more competitive. But I think the way things are, I'm gonna say the Beans get on.
Kyle, Beans and Huey Lewis, who you got?
Well, I think this is an opportunity for shootout. I don't like seeing Najee still in, so I'm hoping the Beans blows all his fob on Jerome Ford. He might spend $150 on him. So I'd say if Naj stays in, I'm going Huey. But if Beans swaps out Naj for somebody, I'm going Beans.
That's a great argument.
If the Beans after this episode keep Naj in and he goes 28 points, he needs to be calling in next week so that he can get his kudos. There's no doubt. Christian, who you got in this game?
I have to go with Huey after.
Wow.
So if that's the only way, go in. He's projected 94 and goes to 135. I can't not.
Agreed. That is a thing. Jordan, who you got in this game?
I think I'm gonna go Beans. Looking at Huey's matchups, it looks like a little bit of a matchup murder this week for him. He's got James Conner going against Dallas, Michael Thomas going against Green Bay secondary, Laporta going against Atlanta. It's just a bad game script for him. Bucks D going against Philly. It's just bad matchups. I don't think he's gonna get the most out of his guys this week.
That Bucks D better get out of that lineup.
Yeah,
quick. Tonight.
So I agree, Jordan. Those are very tough matchups.
Yeah. That's a good point. And so
Richardson versus Baltimore.
Yeah, and I don't know if Richardson's been cleared either.
Yeah, his bell's out rung, and I don't know if he's cleared to play. So, he's looked good early, but we'll see how he recovers from this concussion.
And we have one more.
And here is
this is
what could be.
Look at the projected on this one.
126. 125 projections, no lineup needed, predicted to edge Sotie pant loads in what could very well be the game of the week. No lineup needed in an 0-2 spot, looking to get that first win of the year, and Sotie pant loads looking to build on their victory. Walt, who you got?
Well, I have to ask both owners a question. I don't know if they're trying to play mind games with each other, but Kyle, is that a mistake? Zach Moss is in there, and Christian, Khalil Herbert, you're still leaving them in there. So are you two trying to, I guess, jockey and play mind games with each other, or what's the?
Kyle, we'll go to you first. You've got Zach Moss in the lineup. Are you staying with him?
Well, BTR must not have any film at HQ up in New Hampshire, because Zach Moss, 88 yards, a TD. The guy runs downhill. He's been just waiting for that RB1 opportunity. He's the pant load.
So that's what he's been waiting for.
Guy.
Okay, all right. Against Baltimore, you're feeling that's a good matchup.
It's going to be a shootout. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Christian, Khalil Herbert, staying in your lineup?
Well, if you look at my bench, I am lacking. I could honestly put Fournette in there. I think I'd be just as well off as putting Khalil. And let me just remind you that I have the first waiver wire pick, so
if you bid enough,
that's any indication of who I'm going to be playing.
If you bid enough,
Christian, you realize we're bidding now.
I will be. I'm going to be making sure I pick this guy up.
You got to bid, my friend. We'll see. We've already had a $63 bid thrown in. All right, so we'll see.
I guess I can rescind my bid then, Christian.
Yeah, I don't think it's making fast, mate.
Okay, I love hearing that, because to me that's what you got to do. Sometimes you see a guy, you got to go all in. And
I agree.
And
it's early, but we've already seen the bidding sweepstakes. Who didn't spend Tuesday wondering, hey, how much am I going to throw into Jerome Ford? Everyone's thinking the same thing. And Kareem Hunt getting picked up does not really dilute that.
That means nothing.
I don't even know what that means.
Absolutely.
That's just they're getting depth at that point. That's all that they're doing.
Right, because that's what it is. They got who else after something happens to Ford? Yeah, Ford's the number one. There's no question about that.
Yep. And so
who are you going with on that?
I'm going to go in this matchup. I'm going no lineup getting their first win of the season, only because I just don't see no lineup going 0-3. You've got Mahomes playing Chicago, which could turn into they don't need a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know. Justin Fields might rise up and make it a game. Mike Williams is the matchup that I see as being the key here for them. The Chargers in Minnesota, we talked about that in an earlier game. I think that's going to be an absolute shootout of a game. And Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are getting fed. I think he continues to get fed and leads this team.
Yeah, this is the one projection I actually think is going to be close to being. I think this is going to be a really tight game.
This is a great game.
I look at it. Kyle's got tough matchups, but he's got some okay ones here and there. Mahomes against Chicago, that's a really beautiful matchup to have, but Stevenson against the Jets, not loving that. But Lamb, Williams, I'm going to go no lineup like you.
Yeah.
That they get their first victory of the season.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping that, like last week, these games turn into. Last week was an amazing BARFF week. There was really only the one game. It was me and Soarin Eagles, because Soarin Eagles had an off week where that game wasn't very interesting. But the rest of the games where it was back and forth, it was who's going to do what, and it was really great to see in BARFF.
Agreed.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for calling in. Who has anything to add to this broadcast that hasn't been brought up yet? Anyone got anything?
I got something to say.
Ready.
I think the Beans might be pointing their car towards the Bunker Hill Memorial after hearing Christian's stance on Jerome Ford.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beans is trying to hire a coder to add an extra $5 to it.
You're going to see a 155 bid.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I'd be calling the league if I see that. So.
Yeah, your money will get converted to pesos, so it won't be valued as much, Christian.
I love it. This is if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So we'll see. I would love to see a 155 bid come in, to be honest with you. It gives us a lot to talk about next week. We'll have to bring in an internet expert. All right, guys. Anything else? Anything else?
I
got just go pant loads. That's all I got.
Go pant loads. All right, great. You gotta support yourself. I will say I'm looking forward to another great week of BARFF, and I'm hoping that the Giants do something tomorrow night that doesn't get crushed. So
that would be amazing. Yeah. Thursday night games, they've kind of sucked, haven't they?
They suck in prime time.
Yeah,
DJ sucks in prime time. So I'm not optimistic, but I just want them to show that they can.
Yeah, exactly. Hang with a good team. Yeah, for sure.
So that's great. All right, I love the participation. Let me check the chat one more time, because I've really been ignoring the chat. My screen isn't set up the way it usually is.
Did the Beans log off about that?
He's gone dark.
Oh no, Coos is weighing in with who is pointing their car where in December. That is getting a little bit dark. So let's not do that, people. Let's stay positive. And let's end this episode looking forward to next week's BARFF action. Thank you to Sotie Pantloads, No Lineup Needed, and Team Soarin Eagles for calling in tonight. Thanks for everyone that participated in the chat. Its show is always better when people other than us weigh in. And thank you for once again making the trek from the promised land back down to Belchertown.
It was a pleasure.
All right. That is our show for the night. Born to Run, Knuckleheads say thanks to all, and let's have a great week.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.
Good luck to all.
Play ball.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.